Hello and welcome everybody to the FF Locker Room NFL Quick Fix. It is April 9th, 2014, and we're going to run through some news and things that are happening around the NFL in the past week or so, just to kind of get you caught up, make this your one-stop shop, as well as fflockerroom.com for anything going on in the NFL. First thing I want to talk about is Nate Burleson signing with the Cleveland Browns today on a one-year deal. Last year in 9 games, he caught 39 passes for 461 yards, opposite of Calvin Johnson. He had the whole pizza box snafu happen at one point last year that held him out for 7 games or so. But signing on with the Browns, opposite of Josh Gordon, so he still has that receiver to kind of take some pressure away from him. But ultimately, his effectiveness is going to be limited by whoever's at the quarterback position. Brian Hoyer, as of right now, is the starter, but they could possibly take one of the top quarterbacks available in the draft between Manziel, Bortles, or Bridgewater with that number 4 pick. On April 4th, Chris Johnson was released from the Titans. The 28-year-old has gotten multiple teams deny interest in him, such as the Falcons and Broncos, who a few people thought he would be a good fit for. The only team really to show any remote interest in him has been the Jets, who said they like the idea of a Chris Johnson / Chris Ivory tandem, but a potential deal is really going to come down to the money, and that's the interesting thing that we're going to have to see is how low is he willing to go in that dollar amount when it comes to the contract, because we've seen in the last few years, just take Michael Turner for example, the market for a running back who's really leaving his prime, who maybe hasn't been playing all that great lately, the market just isn't there anymore. The Tampa Bay Bucks have traded Mike Williams to Buffalo for a 6th-round pick. Now, Mike Williams, a guy that came into the league, started out hot, over 900 yards his first year, dropped down to around 730 in a second, but then was just 4 yards short of 1,000 yards in 2012. Had a rough year last year, dealt with injuries all year, started just 5 games, finished with 216 yards, and a guy who's had quite a few off-the-field issues as we've gotten into the offseason here. However, you've got Steve Johnson at opposite of him at the wide receiver in Buffalo. If Mike Williams can be healthy, there could actually be some decent options for E.J. Manuel to throw the ball to going forward. We'll just have to see how his off-the-field problems shake out as we near towards next season, and make sure that he's healthy going into the next year, because he does have the talent to put up those 800, 900-yard seasons yet again, I do believe. Moving on to some draft news, Rams GM Les Snead said that the Rams have had discussions with multiple teams regarding the trade of the number 2 pick. If you remember back in 2011, the Rams traded their number 2 pick to the Redskins. As a result, they've got picks number 2 and picks number 13 in this year's draft, thanks to the Redskins kind of throwing this year, so to speak. Rumors are circulating that the Browns may actually use their 4th pick in the draft on a quarterback, despite holding the 26th and 35th pick as well. And I guess the surprising part about that is that they've been linked to repeatedly to Derek Carr, a guy who's got a fantastic arm, but much like his brother, as soon as there is any pressure to be felt, all the mechanics just go awry, and that's really been what has made him drop in this draft. As far as raw talent goes, he probably is up there in the top 5. It's just a matter of he can get comfortable enough with an NFL pass rush in order to let that talent shine through, because he can make all the throws. The Raiders have met with Johnny Manziel twice so far, once during the Combine and the other during a pre-draft visit. It's going to be interesting to see how this Johnny Manziel stuff shakes out. He's one of those players that I wouldn't be surprised, even yet, as we get closer to the draft and we get a better idea of where guys might be going. He's still one of those guys that I feel like he could go in the top 5 picks of the draft, and I could see him falling all the way down to the late first round. Draft stock when it comes to Manziel is so volatile, but the Raiders picking him wouldn't surprise me in the least. With the 7th pick, the Bucks have met with Jimmy Garoppolo twice so far. They appear to be gearing up to draft a quarterback, although it looks like they're going to be content to take somebody else in round 1 and maybe go after Garoppolo in round 2. Sources around Vikings camp have confirmed that the Vikings are high on Zach Mettenberger, who Sources confirmed that they believe it's a good fit for North Turner's system. It also looks like he's going to be a guy they take in the second round. It's been looking like they really want Khalil Mack in the first round. However, I do believe Khalil Mack is going to go in the top 5 and will not be there at pick 10 when the Vikings, or excuse me, not in pick 10, but later in that top 10 when the Vikings actually get to make their pick. The Lions, who have the number 10 spot, have shown some interest in Sammy Watkins. I mentioned a little bit earlier that Nate Burleson is now out of the picture with the Lions. Depth was kind of an issue last year at the wide receiver position for the Lions as a result of some of the injuries that they suffered. But Sammy Watkins, Calvin Johnson duo could be a really interesting duo there, and the Lions have shown interest, and it is widely believed that they will move up in the first round and are actively looking to move up in that first round to get the guy that they want. Last but not least, Manish Mehta of the New York Daily News said the Jets have brought in many quarterbacks for pre-draft visits, including Darqueze Dennard of Michigan State, Bradley Roby of Ohio State, and Jason Verrett of TCU. That is the quick fix for April 9th, 2014. Any NFL news, fantasy football news, any fantasy baseball news, absolutely anything, head over to fflockerroom.com. Check out our forums, check out our shows every week on Blog Talk Radio, and we've got more quick hitter videos coming out each and every week right here on YouTube at the FF Locker Room page.